Nicole, I had a quick question for you before we get started. I was asked about the synod, whether or not there was like bulletin announcements. And when I got on the website, they only went through June. There isn't anything beyond that. Am I missing something? Was there something that was supposed to come through that's supposed to start prepping for fall groups?
Yeah, there will be later today or possibly during
Oh,
this
okay.
meeting. I can multitask.
Okay.
Yeah,
I just
know
wanted to make
there
sure I
was
didn't miss anything. So I'm like, I haven't seen anything that come across, and the bulletin announcements have just been the weekly that we get has just been pray for the Senate. It hasn't mentioned anything about small group or
right.
the process. So I just wanted to make sure I didn't miss anything.
Yeah, a lot of it was just putting the words behind the process after we got out of that small group event. So the ones that we'll be posting are much more specifically about what it looks like. You'll come into, you'll sit at a table, you'll watch a video about these things, you'll talk about these things, and then you're going to fill out a form to provide your feedback. And so it's a lot more about
Detail.
the detail, which we were really spending up until about mid-June of ironing out. So yeah, so I'm sorry those weren't
Okay.
up sooner, but yeah, we should.
No. Like I said, I just wanted to make sure I didn't, we get inundated with emails. I just want to make sure I didn't miss anything because
Totally.
the
Yeah.
person that's running that at our church was like, hey, are we putting anything in the bulletin? I'm like, I don't know. I haven't seen anything yet.
Okay, cool. Yes.
I just want to second the thank you on that having all of those communications for that kind of along with the return to mass has been just so helpful. So thank you.
Oh, wonderful. Good. Thank you. I appreciate hearing that. And we're actually meeting hopefully Monday to get some more strategy behind rolling the Senate out. We know that everyone has just been underwater with back to mass, especially since the dispensation was set for July 1st. We didn't know exactly when that was going to fall. So with that in mind, we had just this race to the finish with getting those things ready. So hopefully we'll be able to get some more structure, some more planning, and more resources around the Synod small groups as we go towards the end of July into August. And hopefully that works with a lot of your schedules as well. Just knowing again that first of all, it's summer. And so we really are going to have to grasp people as they start to come back from summer too. And just knowing that everyone's just been so busy.
All right. I think we can get started with prayer. And then begin our meeting. So Amanda, if you would like to kick us off?
In the name of the Father, Son, Holy Spirit, amen. Dear God, thank you for your amazing power and work in our lives. Thank you for your goodness and for your blessings over us. Thank you that you are able to bring hope, though, through even the toughest of times, strengthening us for your purposes. Thank you for your great love and care. Thank you for your mercy and grace. Thank you that you are always with us and will never leave us. Thank you for your incredible sacrifice so that we might have freedom and life. Forgive us for when we don't thank you enough for who you are, for all that you do, for all that you've given. Help us to set our eyes and hearts on you afresh. Renew our spirits. Fill us with your peace and joy. We love you and we need you this day and every day. We give you praise and thanks, for you alone are worthy. In Jesus' name, amen. In the name of the Father, Son, Holy Spirit, amen.
All right.
All right. So we're going to start talking about the social first.
Yeah, let's start off with that. Do you have the agenda? Sorry.
I do.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, let's start off talking about the social.
Okay, so we're going to start our new 2021-2022 planning structure beginning in September. So our August meeting, just to recap, is Ellen with the PR Training Academy. And I don't know, Nicole, if you have anything you want to give a little PR for that, just to try to encourage people to attend it all.
Yeah. So I mean, she's definitely professional. She's tied into the National Catholic Press Association just here. So she's kind of even though she's over in Ireland and kind of has her own business on the PR side of things. She has relationships with others in the Catholic communication community. And I just, she offers these different trainings that I think are just interesting from the standpoint of how do you. I think the ones, I'm not sure exactly what she's going to talk about, so I don't know if I can give the best PR, but I think that, the trainings that have rolled out about how you position yourself, like how do you look at your brand of your company, your organization, and in our case, it's our parish. I think that there were just kind of some basic kind of marketing and branding things that she covered in the training I saw, and then a little bit about kind of relationships and how you communicate that, right? So yeah, I'm not sure if she's going to delve into that too much, but I do know that she's just been in the industry for a very long time and has a lot of great expertise working on the secular side of things that we can probably apply, as well as someone who's connected to the Catholic world and so is very aware of how things work. She's also very interested and complimentary of this group already. She's kind of coming from Ireland. The parishes and the communication scene are just, it's very different. Like there's challenges, but I mean, like 90% of the people that go to their Catholic schools are Catholic. I mean, it's a little bit more where they don't have some of the same communication challenges, but at the same time, they might not have some of the same opportunities because they don't have professionals assigned at the parishes to work on these things. So I think she's just as interested to hear from us, to learn from us a little bit on what we do, as well as kind of sharing her own expertise.
Okay. And then, let's see, so August will be a Zoom meeting and we'll do this structure, and then we'll have our first in-person. We're going to do a social in September. So we're kicking off the year at Redstone and Eden Prairie. They have a beautiful patio with like a little water area, and it's just a really nice setting that we'll be able to just kind of hang out and be a great way to get to know each other maybe a little bit, get to know some of each other, and then we have a lot of new people. So we're hoping a wonderful time that all of you can join us. And even if you want to bring other staff members, just an opportunity for us to get to know each other a little bit better. And then hopefully that's a kickoff that we'll be meeting quarterly then after that. So we'll do the September kickoff in person. My computer's moving, sorry. Then we're going to do still monthly Zooms. We are moving them to the third Thursday at 10 a.m. So same time, but it's instead of the first, we're moving to the third Thursday. It seems like the first gets hit with a lot of holidays. There seems to be other meetings that are hitting at that time. So we're going to try the third Thursday and see if that works. Again, we know that that may not work for absolutely everybody, and we apologize if it is hitting another one of your meetings. We just keep trying to find the best time for the most people. So we're going to try third Thursdays at 10 a.m. Certainly give us feedback, and we'll take that into consideration for the next option that we have. So then we're going to do quarterly in-person meetings. So right now we're looking at October, January, April, and July. So we would like to rotate locations for that. So if anybody would like to volunteer to host, we would love it. We do a $20 stipend for meeting refreshments. So whatever you choose to get to offer, usually it's coffee, maybe donuts or rolls or whatever. And then we'd like to really get speakers at those meetings. So what we'd like to do is get any ideas from you. If you've got somebody that would be a really good speaker, it might be somebody from social media or website design, or now we're all in the video age, so maybe video. Somebody maybe on content or graphic design, things like that. If you've got somebody that would be a really great kind of a general information on a specific topic that would be good for our group, we would love to get those ideas from you. So please share those ideas of who would be a great speaker that you would either be interested or you think that the group would be interested in hearing from. So we'll take those into consideration, and we'll really try to get speakers at those 4 quarterly ones. And then we get a lot of feedback that people just really love just kind of the collaboration of working together. So our monthly Zoom meetings will continue to be maybe focus driven on certain areas, but opportunity for everyone to speak and talk. And is there anything, Megan, Brittany, Jody, that I'm missing as far as explaining that?
Well, so no, I think you did good. I think the one thing to clarify is the months that we have the in-person, we will not have a Zoom. So
Right.
Those in-person meetings will take the place of our Zoom meetings those months. And then the months that we don't have an in-person would be the Zoom meetings. So.
Good. All right. And then does somebody else want to talk about renewing the registration October 1st?
Sure. So we, as many of you know, have a $20 annual fee for the Catholic Communicators group. And so this past year with COVID, we didn't really push the renewal part of it because we had changed everything and it was all over Zoom. And so, yeah, our need for the resources was less at that time. And we also were just trying to keep connected in a way. But we are going to renew registrations again this year. So if you could send in your registration, we had the link in the flock note that came out. We're going to ask for registrations to come in by October 1st. And that's just a good way for us to keep track of our membership as well and know who's still an active member of our group. And as well as to help cover those costs such as the stipend and our flock note account and different administrative fees if we were to have a speaker that we needed to pay a stipend for and that type of thing. So that will be due October 1st. And I've already seen a few of those come in. So thank you to everybody who's already re-registered.
I just added the link to the chat in case anyone needs it.
Okay.
Did anyone have, like, while we're on this topic, ideas for speakers, or did you want to offer your location to host? I think it's kind of fun to go around to see different parishes, so it's kind of nice to meet at different locations each time. So if you
Also gives an opportunity for maybe people in the different throughout the metro area to come. It might be hard for someone in northeast metro area to come down to Pax Christi in Eden Prairie. But if we move it around to different locations, then sometimes other people will come because it's just more convenient for them.
So no pressure if it's not convenient or conducive to your parish, but think about it if you want to run it by your leadership or anything. And you can always email our core team and let us know if you would like to offer to host.
How many people? How much room do we need?
I would say plan for 25 to 30. Usually we don't have that many that attend in person, but we could have,
Okay.
especially if we have a speaker that comes in that people really want to hear. So.
Well, and we have been growing, but COVID, we really we were building momentum and getting more people to come, and then COVID hit. So who knows how many would come. I think 25 to 30 is a good number to start. If the room seats 50, then it's good, but we'd love to say that we're growing, but who knows how many. So Patty said that St. Joe's and New Hope is on the list for hosting if it works. Awesome. Thanks, Patty.
I'm new, so I haven't been to any of your in-person ones yet, but St. Olaf would be very happy to host. So
Great.
we are in downtown Minneapolis, so that might be really good for a lot of the people in the different metros since we're very centrally located.
Right.
So
And
yeah, you can definitely put us on the list.
Great.
Thank you, Amber.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we've had a couple in downtown Minneapolis, and it's been kind of nice. St. Anthony or St. Timothy and Blaine, St. John's in Little Canada. Sweet.
Thanks, guys. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right, what's next on the docket?
Can I interrupt real quick?
Yes.
I'm interested in, I'll talk to other parish directors and whatnot, and they don't know about us. So I'm wondering if somehow maybe tapping into Nicole's database from the Archdiocese, or there's some way that we can get the word out a little bit more, because I think it's such a valuable resource. And when these bigger parishes, especially, I mean, they're not little ones, they're big ones, that they are unaware. So it'd be kind of nice to get the word out a little bit more somehow.
Yeah, no, I know just the opportunity actually. We have coming up in July, they have a parish administration orientation and my boss is presenting on it. So we can make sure we have a mention in there. I mean, normally we have in materials kind of the different resources that people can do. And then especially for the ministry associations, we have us listed as one of the ministry associations. So I believe you're at least on the radar in the in kind of the ministry association world. And, as you know, it's helpful that Dean is also a parish director, right? That he can help with that. But that event I told you about is actually intended for anyone who's new in parish administration, as well as kind of new pastors, people moving into that role. So I can, I'll check with my boss about putting a mention in there as well. Other than that, I know you do have things in the bulletin announcements, like about the new meetings. So, I mean, just if you want to continue sending those our way, if you think it's helpful to be an Arch update, because that is the primary email communication to all staff. If it's helpful from an exposure standpoint, I certainly don't mind, putting in a mention, especially about those quarterly in-person meetings in our communication section, if you think it would be helpful.
Nicole, one more thing. Is there geographical separation of churches? So like if I wanted to communicate with other Catholic organizations within 3 miles of us, do you have anything that's divided like that, any database?
We don't have specific communications that are regional. No, the runs we have right now are just more broadly based on role. So it's kind of just top leaders, everybody, and then the education office has a direct one, things like that, kind of based on role. So nothing just purely deanery wise. Though talking to your pastor about it, as you know, they're all part of, they have their own deanery meetings, right, with the other priests. I don't really know kind of the realm of that and kind of what that would entail. But it's always a question you could bring up with their pastor about if, I don't even know with COVID if they've been meeting, but that's the only thing I can think of right now is that there's kind of, all the pastors within those regional deaneries do meet or are in conversation as deanery leaders. And so you could certainly ask if there's an opportunity there.
Okay, thank you. What I was specifically, and I probably didn't phrase that correctly, but like a church index, like I could say 55442 and tell me all of the physical churches.
Oh, yes. I can give you, I'll dig up the link there. I have a link that at least lists, is the names okay? The only thing I'm aware of is we have the names of all the parishes in each deanery. Is that okay?
Yep, that sounds perfect.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll put that in chat.
All right, thanks.
Would that back to Mass Minnesota map help at all?
Back to Mass.
The Back to Mass MN, there's that map of all of the archdioceses, and then if you zoom in, it also shows all of our churches.
Yeah, let me look at that one. I saw that right when it came out, I think.
Yeah.
It was announced a while ago.
Yeah, the big map has, like the all the different I guess the counties within Minnesota, and then our section links to our own parish finder, which we'll list all of our parishes, so you can kind of see the ones in your neighboring area too. But if that's helpful, I'll put a couple links in the chat here too, that hopefully will be helpful as well.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, well, since I missed the meeting on Tuesday, what else are we talking about today? Jody and Brittany.
No problem. Those were kind of the main topics, kind of planning for the next year. So feel free to shoot out any speaker ideas if you have, or sending them in the chat, or just sending them, emailing our group. But otherwise we can do some open discussion now if anybody has other topics they'd like to discuss.
I think also don't limit yourself to speaker ideas, but topic ideas. Even, we can even do some homework or do some connecting if we just generally want to know what we want more information on.
Yeah.
Or even just group discussions.
Right. One thing that came up in a recent conversation, actually there were a couple, I guess I'll have to kind of go through my notes because I was going to email you guys afterwards, but kind of that idea of how you use data to tell a story or make a business case for something. I think we talked a little bit before about analytics that are out there, but kind of how you put the pieces together might be kind of interesting, whether that's in social or in other communications.
Good. All right, so we're just going to open the discussion up. Does anybody have anything that special you're doing at your church for summer, or are you gearing already ready for fall? Is anybody doing church festivals? What are some other topics coming up that anyone's got anything that they can share or offer as advice or anything like that?
Well, since Amanda, since you mentioned festivals, I think St. Timothy and Blaine is planning the weekend of September 10th and 11th, our kind of annual carnival, which of course last year basically didn't happen, and it's a long tradition and really a major parish fundraiser. And I think a lot of other parishes do some sort of fall festival or fall celebration. So just wanted to hear about how people are adapting that, how people are promoting it. I mean, I can say here at St. Tim's, we're expecting to bring in less revenue, because we expect it to be smaller. And we've shortened it from 3 days to 2. But gearing up to encourage people to buy raffle tickets and to come, and sort of framing it really as a chance to reconnect and like a movement back towards, being together in person and having fun. So anyone else?
I noticed in your comments that you still have COVID-19 protocols. What protocols do you still have in place at your parish?
Well, I mean, that's just really for like outside groups coming in and meeting, so that's pretty much, our mass is entirely back to normal, starting last weekend, but it's like in terms of, groups meeting in the parish where, their leadership is still holding off until the fall.
Are other churches doing that? Have other churches, do you still have protocols that you're following? I'm just curious because we don't really have anything. We've kind of lifted everything at this point.
We're having our festival, but we're not serving food. We're having food trucks instead this year. We're also raffling off the toothpick church. There'll be I think there's going to be an article in the Spirit about the toothpick church maker to time with that thing. But we are also not doing non-church sponsored meetings in the building. So it isn't like a CCW or Catholic United Financial, not groups outside we're not doing that yet. Mostly, no bridal showers or baby showers or anything like that. Mostly because I think of the protocols still required by Catholic Mutual in the cleaning procedures, which was a little overwhelming for staff that have been overwhelmed for a year already. So that's it. Exciting festival. I know it is kind of, I'm looking forward to it. Last year's non-festival brought in more money than it as any regular festival has.
Was it virtual?
Yeah, it was virtual, and people really pulled together strong. It was great. I was pretty excited. Like, let's do it like this all the time. They're like, no, we want people together. Right. So, yeah. That's my.
We pulled off a virtual event last year and did fairly well, but this year we are doing full in person. The only thing we're not having this year is our smorgasbord, which is very much a controversy that we're not having it, but we're more not having it because we've lost all of our volunteers.
Right. That's yeah.
Same here. Having a 2-day festival instead of 3 and cutting out some events is more about sort of aging congregants and fewer people to staff, volunteers to staff things, than it is about COVID concerns.
We too have a long time festival, September 10 and 11. So that's fun timing. But we are it's entirely volunteer led. I've been kind of fighting my way in. Like my first year, I did a news release, and I just even trying to get the details to have something to promote was challenging. And so I'm kind of excited that this year they actually have invited me to make their materials on the front end. But they're moving full steam ahead. Ours is a 1 day, so that's a little bit easier from a volunteer staffing. side of things, but they decided it's our 50th anniversary. So that's one big reason to kind of restore it to what it was. But they figured, let's do what we do well. And it is true. Our fall festival has always, from what I can tell, has really been a strong event here with a lot of people who really only help with the festival. Like there's people who went to church here many years ago and still come back just to volunteer. Last year there was a family pouring beer in the beer tent that was their story. They were married at St. Bonaventure, and they just every single year come back. And I shouldn't say last year. Last year we didn't have a festival. Obviously 2019 was our last festival, but we're just moving full steam ahead on it. And I guess I hope it works out, but I think from what I can see, people are engaged and really wanting to make it successful. But on the flip side, some of our other ministries and volunteers are not necessarily returning. So it could be a case of this is one particular thing that people are behind, and our other more regular ministries are finding their way and finding their balance. So it's not like we have, an overflowing amount of volunteers here. I think it's just one particular thing that people are behind.
So we've started
caution you a little bit with getting the office involved. What we found is the office got involved because there's so many aspects the office has to do, like the liquor license and stuff. And now they're kind of like dumping everything on the office, and they're expecting the office to do it all. And
yes.
I'm like, we can't do all this. We have our other jobs, remember. And we're struggling to get leadership volunteers. Like everyone's willing to come and work a 2-hour shift, but nobody wants to be leaders anymore. And so it just keeps getting dumped on the office. So be careful taking too much into the office.
Yeah, that's the fine line. I guess I should have worded that better. I was more frustrated because they come in and want copies of things and then are kind of confused when like none of their language matches. And like I worked really hard on adopting a brand here. And so I have been very particular in what I've been like inserting myself in, but more on the end of like, let me help you make your materials look great. Like I'm here to serve, but I can't do it in an hour. Like that's the part that's hard, is that like at the point that they want their copies, they're like, no, I need to mail it out. Like, oh, could you just give me like a hot day? So I think this time around seems, I don't know, maybe it's just that I've proven myself because I've been here 2 years. So now they're seeing things start to match and it's less of a fight. But I agree. We can't take the workload of the entire festival inside the office, because then it loses the point. Yeah.
We're lucky because we have a standard group. It's called the Top Six, and it's a 3-year commitment. And they rotate. There's 2 new people every year. So, and it's a big, good, strong way to do it. We've also started with the Back to Mass Minnesota initiative, a welcoming or a hospitality initiative. And we're really blessed to have 2 young women in their 20s as our leaders. Wow. Actually, one maybe 30. So, that's great. And it's a little stressful because they want to do it all right now, and I'm like, well, we have to hold off, we'll get to the festival, then get to the synod, and then we'll do our 5-year plan, but not tomorrow. So, because especially since the last pre-synod meeting, Archbishop Hepta said to wait on doing long-term planning. So, but it's exciting to try to get, and that it's also, we're doing like follow-up for sacramental follow-up, and then more trying to connect more people, because some people get lost in a big church like St. Wenceslas versus the smaller Western churches of St. Scholastic and St. John's. They're more intimate. But it's pretty exciting to see the group of people that are really excited to take part of it, because we also have lost a lot of volunteers for other things, just, Eucharistic ministers and sacristans and all that. But this whole group is hopefully going to try to sort of drive a new, not just to be welcoming all the time, because you can't move past that. You always still have to be welcoming every weekend. But to try to eventually get more people than the usual suspects involved in some of our other ministries. I'm pretty excited by that. But we'll see how it goes. It's always adding more work to my to-do list. When you do this meeting with the ushers, I'm like, oh.
Is your top 6 in place of a parish council, or is that specific to your festival?
It's specific to the festival. And some of the people are also on the council, but it's independent. And it's a really good, if you are interested in finding out how it works, I can connect you with one of them or all of them. But it's been in place since even before I was here, so.
We had
We have
that.
a strong committee, but I was just thinking as a general, that idea of the moving to every year is pretty great.
Yeah.
People are willing to commit to that because they don't feel like they're stuck in it forever then.
Right. And then the 2 leaving are responsible for getting their 2 coming in. So it's a self-fulfilled, it's really self-maintenance. And then you've got someone who's been there for 2 years already as, the 3rd year leader. So they know the drill. So it's not new people every year.
We had that at one of our churches. So we're 3 merged churches.
Right.
So at one point, all 3 churches had their own festival. Then we merged 2 of the festivals. And in 2019, we merged the 3. But with the merge, we lost a lot of that. Like a lot of people were like, I'm not going to serve at this church because that's not my church. And
right.
So we're trying to figure out how to rebuild that again, because it was very successful before. And we can't get people, they're not willing to go to another church because that's not their church, even though we're all one parish.
I totally understand what you're saying. Although this year, I've heard a couple people say, it's been a long time for us too, 2011, I think, or same time frame. Someone say, I'm tired of the us versus them. And this is from this, and then at the last CCW meeting for the Western Catholic community, the CCW, WCC, or whatever, it's a palindrome. They're like, we want to help with your festival. And I was like, yes, it's a miracle. It was, years. And isn't it great? It's great. Everything's, I don't know, but that was exciting. It's very cool.
Anybody else have festival information or summer information to share?
I do actually.
Hey.
So St. Olaf is celebrating their 80th birthday anniversary this year. And so we always celebrate St. Olaf Day. So St. Olaf Day usually falls on July 29th-ish or thereabout. And so the weekend, 2 weeks roughly, the weekend of July 24th and 25th, we'll be celebrating. So Saturday after our evening or 4 o'clock mass, we're just doing simple things with like cupcakes and ice cream and root beer. But then on Sunday, we actually have a really big concert recital. So we have a really huge organ, and we just got our Steinway piano restored this year. We've had it for years and years, and it just really needed some work. So this is going to be its big kind of reemergence back into weekend mass and everything. So we're having a bunch of recitals on Sunday afternoon, along with we will have a food truck and more cupcakes and ice cream after all of the masses. And then in September, end of September, we have our annual of music and ministry. And this will be our 4th one that we're doing. And this last year was a virtual, we did it with Zoom. And so far it went really well. There's a specific planning committee for that one, and they take care of all of that. And I just get to put the dates on the calendar and make sure we have a room reserved and take care of any food things. But the committee is really great with that. And we use that solely as a fundraiser to help with our reserve fund. So in case something goes terribly wrong, we have something to help with that. So those are two big events that are coming up soon.
Can you describe the music and ministry a little bit more?
Yeah, definitely. So it's normally we have a group come in, some sort of music performers, and this year is the Lundstrom Performing Arts, the Casserly Sisters. And so I'm not entirely sure what they'll be doing, but they will be doing usually about a half an hour-ish performance. And we usually have like little appetizers beforehand or like a small reception afterwards. And that'll be taking in place here at the church, but we will also be live streaming that in case there are people who can't make it or would still like to be not in person at events yet. So, and that's an evening thing. So it's just one evening and it's on, this year is a Thursday.
That sounds really cool.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Last year, oh, the name of the group is escaping me, but they were, I believe it was Sisters of Swing, and they did like swing music, and then they did a few dances. And since that one was live streamed, they actually pulled up our father, Kevin Kenny, and he did a couple dances with them. So everybody thought that was really great. And that definitely got a lot of views on YouTube. So
Do you charge for the event then?
So with COVID, it's kind of been interesting. Normally we did, since there was a really big dinner afterwards, but this last year and this year, we're kind of trying a little bit of a different format just because of not having a dinner and it being online and different things. So there is a free registration, but I think it's more going to be of just donations, asking for that for the reserve fund versus having a ticket charge.
Okay.
So that sounds like an event that you can put on the Archdiocese bulletin announcements.
Yes, that one has not made it on there yet, but that one I usually do get on there. So, yep.
I'll publicize that on ours too. That sounds fun.
Yeah, people really love it. And even if they can't make it in person, a lot of people are really enjoying the live stream. So that's one good thing to come out of the pandemic, is learning how to live stream everything.
It's like second nature to all of us now.
Yeah, we also do monthly organ recitals. So our organist, he has a lot of contacts with a lot of the universities around the area and other parishes. So a lot of like organ instructors will come by and they'll do a short little half an hour program after our noon mass. And we usually live stream that too. So that's just a really small, once a month on a Wednesday afternoon thing.
So at St. Joe's, we have lots of things going on. One of the biggest things that our parish director, Dean Rademacher, worked with the Forgiveness Project. And then it's followed by the F word, which grabs a lot of attention, but it says, it stands for Stories of Forgiveness. And it's an exhibit that St. Joe's is bringing in from July 7th to August, or July 8th through August 8th. And times vary, and I'll put information here on the screen. And it's very interesting. It's out of Europe, and they're bringing this in, and it's testimonials of lots and lots of different people, how they forgave each other, whether it be a convict and a victim, or a survivor, and or divorces or abortions or whatever. And it's these stories that have big plaques in the faces. And then we have a speaker coming in on July 14th as well. So it's going to be very, very interesting. It's all free. And we're just trying to promote forgiving people and making more harmony and loving spirits and, looking at your soul. So that's kind of fun. And then we're also doing the Fall Festival, October 8th and 9th. We'll have our regular, open doors. The Castaways are playing. We're going to have a pancake breakfast the next day. That's generally attended by, more families. We get some of the more of the young adults and kids doing the Friday night event. And then we too have we just started this music on the patio. So we're trying to make some, she's trying to get the lights on. So we're raising money for the music group. And our director of music and liturgy has brought in guitarist Jared Wallen, and he will be playing this Saturday after the Archbishop has come to do Mass at our church as well, because we're one of the pilgrimage sites for the year of St. Joseph. So there's a whole bunch of information.
Awesome, Patty. So at St. Hubert, we are doing our fall festival September 25th. And we, like someone else in the group said, are trying to reduce the amount of volunteers. We've actually had this format for the last few years just because our volunteers for the festival have been dwindling. We used to do a 2-day event with a big chicken dinner that, would be cooked together by parishioners, and they would all make the stuffing together and the gravy and the corn. And it was like a huge 2-day production almost just to make this dinner. And the attendees of the dinner were going down. It was really hard to get volunteers to help out with the actual making of the dinner part of it. And so a few years ago, we just kind of revamped the whole thing and changed it to a 1 evening event. And we have food trucks, we have bounce houses, we have a few tables set out for ministry for people to talk to, our women's and our men's ministry and youth and young adults, and then our school. And then we have entertainment. So we've had Sonar come in the past to do Christian music. And then this past year, which we're going to do again, we did a St. Hubert's Got Talent event. So we invited groups or individuals within the parish to come up and perform their talents. And so it actually was way better than I expected it to be. We had a couple, like a first grader and a second grader, that came up and sang and had like these dynamite voices that were so good. We had this family that they all take dance classes, and they did this dance together, and it was so great. And then we had this family of musicians that played music and sang, and it was just really cool to see these families that you see at church and you know who they are and stuff, but to kind of see the gifts of the people within our community. And then our Sunday night praise and worship band, we have a couple that plays praise and worship for our Sunday night mass. They kind of just filled in the gaps with praise and worship music, and they performed in the gaps, and then later in the evening when the talent portion was over. So that was really fun. And then we always end the night with fireworks. So that's been a success, and it's volunteer run. We've got 2 chair people that take it on each year, and then a few of the staff people that have to take care of the staff, responsibility part of it, or part of it too. But most of it is planned by these 2 volunteers, and then we've got a volunteer coordinator who is a parishioner as well, who kind of helps manage that piece of it. So, but they've got a pretty good roadmap down about how it's been working well in the past, with a few tweaks from year to year, but otherwise that's what we do. We also do bingo. Bingo is a part of the event too, and we've got a big raffle. So so that's our fall event. But I was thinking, as the group was talking about this volunteer challenge that we all seem to face a little bit, and even just like the opportunity with coming back to Mass now and bringing, we talked a little bit over the COVID period, how we weren't in person, and we doing mass over Zoom or over YouTube and different virtual options, how people were mass hopping and going to different churches and checking different things out. And I know it may be too soon to tell. Have you noticed an uptick in parishioners registering for your parish, or do you have any campaigns or pushes going on to invite people to register that maybe are just coming back to Mass now, or who are new, or who moved to the area within the last year? That's something that I've been kind of thinking about, and what we could do to invite people again to join the parish. It was kind of funny, a week ago, we had someone came into the parish to register, and he was just shocked that he wasn't a member yet. And he said, we went through RCIA here. We just came into the church on Pentecost together. You know, we've had Father over to dinner at our house several times, and we're not members. How are we not members here? And it's just like this simple, you know, formality, really, a form that people have to fill out, or otherwise you're not a member, which kind of sounds silly when you say it. But I mean, how do you encourage, and what processes do you have in place for people to join the parish and to be a part of our database, I guess, if you will?
Aside, obviously you guys will have the boots on the ground perspective of it, but I do know that today the Archdiocesan Stewardship Committee is partnering with APBA to do a presentation on just engaging folks. And it seemed, that was my understanding, is that it's actually supposed to be going outside of simply just getting them to come to Mass, but what it really means to get them engaging in stewardship, and the life of the parish again. So I actually have a big part in that. So I will follow up with them afterwards to see if they're doing a recording and if that's something that could be shared, and see if they have any best practices that come out of it.
That would be awesome, Nicole, because that was the other piece I was thinking of as we're looking at registering new members. How do we get them connected right away, and helping out with the volunteer opportunities, especially now that they've been dormant for a year and we've probably lost a ton of our volunteers? And how do we reinvigorate our volunteers and bring them back to life again and bring in new ones?
Right. And this is probably, and I hesitate to suggest anything just because I think obviously you guys know your community, and I'm also a little nervous about like trying to suggest anything huge before the synod. But at the same time, I mean, if you're welcoming people back anyways, you guys always have the best view of kind of who's the one who's always asking you to promote their stuff because they don't have enough people, like which ministries are really kind of struggling to begin with. And I don't know, maybe this is the time to meet with the folks and just look at some of those questions too, of just, keeping in mind, maybe it's not huge parish planning that should be done right now, but people are still, if you have a bunch of people that are just stepping their toes back in the water again, where do you really want to plug them in, or where do you really need them the most to help get your parish, life started again in this new normal,
So I actually looked at our website because we have an ability to capture the new people that have joined our, like I can get an Excel spreadsheet who have submitted online. And I went back through March, like I figured kind of when COVID hit, and we had over 100 new families or parishioners. Like it's not individual, so it's if like a family signed up. I don't know how many parishioners that equates to, but we've had quite a few. So my goal was to get a welcome letter note out to them with the information that, different volunteer opportunities or different ministries in the parish. So that's on my list of things to do. And then I also, now that we can start having like paper products back in the parish, I was actually just working on a little postcard that says, "Thank you for joining us for Mass today." And then it gives, has a spot for them to fill in their information, and then a checkbox like, "Yes, I'd like to sign up for your newsletter." And yet, and a checkbox for, "Yes, I'd like to become a parishioner." And my goal would be to have, some of those at each pew, like towards the end of the pew. And then we just did a welcome weekend back. When was that, Nicole? Because I know to you about it.
Yeah,
was it a
was
month
like
ago?
early June. It was like right as school was letting out. So I want to say it was like first or second weekend of June you talked about.
Yes, that's right. Yeah,
Corpus
it was
Christi.
the first weekend of June because it was before school let out. So we figured that was the best time to capture people. So we did a little welcome back campaign and did a teaser that you were going to get something, like we were doing a little giveaway after mass for all the masses that weekend. And it actually was also our graduation mass. So we had the most amount of people attend that mass, I think basically since COVID hit. We had quite a few people back, but we did little seed packets and it said, together again, growing in faith. And so each family got a little seed packet to take home and plant. And then I did a little follow up on social media, like tell us what you or where you planted the seeds or where you plan on planting them. And it was cute. We had like 2 elderly women who weren't able to make it to mass Saturday. And she asked Father to like set the gift aside for them. Like it's just a seed packet, but they were really excited. Like, and I guess Father has even stopped. He got his haircut or something like that earlier that week. And people were like, hey, so what's the giveaway this weekend? Like it created quite a bit of buzz, more so than I thought it was going to. So that was really well attended and a lot of positive feedback on that. So we may do something similar to that again this fall, just kind of a welcome back from the summer, because we know a lot of people don't, will either go to mass up at their cabin or, our masses aren't as heavily attended in the summertime. So we might do another welcome back this fall.
So Brittany, we have we have like what you're talking about with your postcard. We have plastic brochure holders in all of our pew racks. I don't know why that was so hard to describe. But in it, we have like welcome cards, which I just refreshed. So we are on the same schedule. And I made this like connection card. And I was when I started Googling, I don't know why I've never thought about this before. Like ours was super basic. And it was just like, I would like to join with check boxes of like, call me, email me a registration form, or mail me. One was, I would like parish news, email list, mailing list. I have a prayer request, and then I would like to serve. And then I did just big buckets of like, I'm interested in hospitality or prayer or outreach or worship. And I'm excited about it. Our old welcome card was a lot more basic and it was almost too many choices. But people used to use it. So I was kind of happy to refresh it. And then we also have in that same like bin, we have like, it's about, the front is about welcoming children in the church, but the back is just pew art. So it's just cards for kids to draw on. And then there's a third piece. After daily mass, we started saying the St. Michael prayer. And so I just put on one side the St. Michael prayer so that if people are at daily mass, it's right there that they can use. But that's just like it's tidy because it's in this little holder. But it's really worked well for us.
Real quick, Liz, I saw you trying to talk before and we weren't hearing you. Do you want to try again? No, we're not hearing you at all. Maybe now. No. Sorry. If there's something you want to type, I know typing's not the easiest. If you want to type it, I'm willing to read it. Okay. Sorry. Anybody else want to chime in there? I do have a question for you, Megan, about the fireworks. I wanted to know what Catholic Mutual says about that. Do you have a fire department that helps you with that, or how do you deal with the fireworks?
So we go through an actual like firework professional. I don't have the name of who he is, but we've used him for several years. And I know we've got the Catholic Mutual permits and approval and everything with that. I can find out the information if you're interested and see who it is we use and all of that. I don't know a whole lot about the firework guy. It's kind of nice doing it in the fall because we can do it early. We usually start the fireworks at like 8 o'clock, and then, you know, those little kids that miss it on the 4th of July because it doesn't start till 10 o'clock get to see it because they're still awake and at the festival at that time.
I did make a mental note of that. Like, we're a little far from Chanhassen, but that would be fun.
All right, anybody else have anything to add for summer events or any other questions that got brought up? Campaigns to get new parishioners or other ideas? Nicole, did you have any announcements from the Archdiocese at all or anything that you wanted to touch base on?
No, I think we kind of covered some of the, some of the things earlier, just about, that we'll be rolling out more in the Synod, but just thank you guys for all your work and getting folks back. And while we were here, actually, I got an email about a new event. I'll just put this on the Facebook page, but it's, I think even though it's through the Catholic Media Association, you may still be able to sign up for it for free. I'm trying to see if it is free, but I believe it's so, but it's about using Facebook for business. And so I put the link here as well. You can tell it's from someone who's European because they have maximizing with an S, not a Z. So that's kind of fun. But yeah, it looks like it might be decent. No, I think just those couple action items I'll follow up on that we talked about earlier about kind of getting this exposure out there in that upcoming event, and then getting a recording of today's stewardship meeting if they're making one.
Cool. Megan, Jody, or Brittany, anything else?
I don't think so. Just, yeah, as you think of topics and ideas for the in-person meetings, please send those in again. And yeah, we're looking forward to next month and hearing from Ellen and for our next format. And if you have any comments or questions about the new format or any concerns about that, also shoot us an email and let us know. But we were just hoping to find, again, something that would work for the majority of the group without a lot of interruptions with holidays and that type of thing. So hopefully that works for most of us.
I saw Liz did type, just curious for people returning in person, what parishes are seeing in terms of attendance in the pews? Good question. I know we saw an uptick last weekend, which we were totally surprised because it was 4th of July weekend and we were really surprised at the numbers. But I haven't seen the actual numbers and compared it to a normal year, so I'm not sure. They were just, the people that were there were just very happy. So anybody else have number info?
I was talking with our liturgy.
Oh, go ahead. I was gonna say, we're pretty close to what we normally see. We still have one section that's behind our choir that we have continued like social distancing where it's every other pew. But we definitely, especially after our welcome back or return to mass weekend, it's pretty close back to normal.
Brittany, did you have a lot of people that sat in the safe section, the social distance section, or?
Well, the thing is, everyone has like their regular spot at mass. So I don't know if people necessarily chose to sit there, if that's where they normally would sit. But it was pretty crowded in the other sections that weren't the socially distanced. So most people chose to sit in the main section and leave that for those that wanted to sit there. And I have a feeling we'll probably continue it through the summer, but I think by this fall, we'll go back to 100% people sit where they want to sit.
I was talking with our liturgist before this meeting, and he was saying this past weekend was maybe about like half or 3/4 of normal, but it's just also summer is always an odd time. And then so many people are traveling more than they would because they haven't been traveling to see family. So I guess I sort of think, we're in this weird halfway point in that like things are reopening, but I don't know that things will feel normal in terms of like mass attendance and like getting volunteers to serve in different roles at mass, like until like Labor Day.
Yeah, I just pulled up our numbers and I think we're probably 75% of what we used to be. But I think definitely we've got a lot of summer going on here. There's a lot of people traveling and going to the cabin. And then we just went through a major transition. So I think we don't really know what our normal is. We've been an ordered parish and our Franciscans left. And July 1, we just started with a new order. And so I think I don't think it's negative. I think I have no baseline. But I think these are pretty good numbers of having in our pews compared to what I remember from before COVID.
All right, well, that's all I have. If nobody else has anything else. All right, well, we look forward to seeing you next month with the speaker. Again, encourage, if you have other staff that wants to listen in, we're excited to have her. And so, obviously anyone can sit in with you. Dues are due October 1st. So if you could take care of those, that would be great. And then we really look forward to seeing everybody in September in person. So like I said, it's a really nice little area outside, and hopefully we can be in that area and just get to know each other again, see each other's faces, and just get us ready for the new year. So thanks everyone for coming today, and I hope everyone has a great rest of your July, and we'll see you in August.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.